KUSI News at 10.
The financial challenges facing Americans these days are not just daunting, they're downright scary.
Job loss, rising prices, and at the core of it all, the mortgage meltdown. But help is available. Tonight, KUSI's Ed Lenderman takes a look at the options people have as he continues his special report, American Dream, Economic Nightmare. Ed?
Kelly, Paul, in part one of our special report, we introduced you to a homeowner who represents thousands of residents who are at wit's end.
But it's turned out to be something that I haven't figured a way to get out from under.
It's a familiar story. A woman we'll call Ann buys her first home, but her loan package turns out to be a nightmare, and the home's value has fallen dramatically. Ann clearly needs help, and she needs it quickly.
The first thing we'll tell someone who's getting into trouble with their lender is to contact the lender. For some reason, people get afraid of the person who's actually conducting the loan. And believe me, right now it's in the lender's best interest to help you pay that loan and to help make the loan work for you.
Don't ignore the warning notices, thinking it will all somehow go away. It won't. It will only get bigger.
So at some point, you've got to decide to help yourself and to take some steps to get your arm around this problem.
Secondly, there are agencies that can help you.
You're 5 months behind? Okay, why don't you tell me what's going on with your situation, what's causing you to fall behind?
This one, for example, called Novadebt. It's a not-for-profit consumer credit counseling organization. You don't pay a dime for the service, and that's important.
The main thing from our standpoint is consumers need to keep hold of the reins. Don't turn the responsibility for payment over to some middleman that wants to stand in the way. That's where we're seeing most of the scams happen.
Credit counseling, not someone offering credit repair.
What's going on in their lives? What's causing the financial hardship?
Your home may be your biggest debt issue, but these days likely not the only one.
We also refer them out to other nonprofit agencies that we work with.
For example?
United Way, we work with also the Urban League, we work with NeighborWorks, and they also additional assistance.
A fresh look at your income.
So you receive about $538 a month in Social Security?
Expenses and your budget. Novadebt has a section devoted specifically to housing issues. 2 years ago, there were 5 housing counselors here. Now, there are more than 50. And yes, they will help you directly with your home lender.
We do a conference call. Most of the times we have the homeowner on the line, we have the servicer, the lender on the line, and we are talking and asking the questions that we know to ask to hopefully get the results that we need to help that person.
Someone should look to see, before they consider bankruptcy, look at your situation.
Carl Sterrett is a business and consumer attorney. One of his specialties is bankruptcy. But he says only after you've exhausted all of your other options.
Their debt situation will also dictate whether they go into a Chapter 13 repayment plan or a Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
The reality of the local situation, however, is that Sterrett is receiving 2 to 3 serious inquiries a week.
Bankruptcy laws require me to evaluate 6 months worth of income history to determine where they fall under the new means test under the bankruptcy reform laws that were passed in 2005. And we look at their total debt picture. We look at how much they make, how much they spend.
But in seeking such expertise,
are you going to be able to find an apartment if you have to give up your home? Is it better to have a bankruptcy instead of a foreclosure in your credit rating? Just have to look at every single case.
To sum up, you may feel overwhelmed, but you have more options than you think. Hiding from the problem isn't one of them. Instead, talk to your lender directly. Ask if your payment can be lowered, including your interest rate. Perhaps you can negotiate a short sale in which the lender accepts less than the total amount due. Contact a not-for-profit agency that deals in credit counseling. They can help you with your lender, too, while also examining your spending and your budget. Avoid a debt management agency that charges a high fee up front before ever negotiating for you. Make sure you understand that whatever debt forgiveness you enter into can have tax consequences. And lastly, it may turn out that a foreclosure or bankruptcy are your only options, but they have major credit consequences. All of our experts say the worst thing you can do is to ignore the problem, hoping it will somehow go away. It's scary, but it has to be dealt with, and help is out there.
Well, I'm sure
Paul, Kelly.
I'm sure it's overwhelming for people, and they just don't know what to do, and they're sort of like stuck.
So they're paralyzed, and so they're hiding the notices, and it'll somehow know. At the very least, call your lender, but we've given you a lot more options than that.
And the fact is, some people can fight and save their homes.
Yes, they can.
It's possible, and in the long run, you'll have money and equity eventually built up. Some of those homes will last.
The longer this thing goes on, the more people are willing to help you, especially the lender.
Nice to have some hope there. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
Guys.